Hello and welcome to Shelsley, Walsh, the home of British hill climbing. We're here for rounds 11 and 12 of the MCL Motorhome British Hill Climb Championship. The event's well underway here, so let's go over to commentator Jerry Sturman and have a look at some of the action.
Shelsley Walsh Hill Climb in the heart of Worcestershire always draws big crowds. It's a historic course. In fact, it's the oldest continuously run motorsport venue in the world. The Midland Automobile Club, still in charge today, first ran Shelsley over 100 years ago in 1905. An equally well-established motoring icon, now in its centenary year, is the Morgan Motor Company, based just down the road in Malvern. So who better to show us the course than Mike Hall in his Morgan Plus 8. Away from the start line, and the big 5-litre Rover V8 pushes the car into Kennel Bend. Full power now up the steep rise to crossing. You need to carry the speed through this fast corner as the road's so steep that to lift off will lose valuable momentum. Up through the kink, we're heading for the S's where it's difficult to judge the braking distance. Keep the car over to the left for the final right-hander and get on the power as soon as the car stops sliding for the long uphill blast to the finish. Horsepower really tells here. The finish banner comes up just 1,000 yards after the start line. If there's one thing you can be sure of seeing at Shelsley Walsh, it's a wide variety of cars and drivers. Here's MotoGP commentator Toby Moody aboard David Wiley's Austin A35. Toby's an experienced hill climber who normally drives a full single-seater with the car's constructor and co-owner Bill Chaplin. But even with a full 1293cc A-Series on board, Shelsley Walsh is quite a challenge for this tiny 1950s saloon, and Toby's keeping the throttle nailed all the way up. He's into the S's with just a dab on the brakes, but the steep finish straight is really going to sap the car's limited power, and Toby's right foot is once again buried in the bulkhead. It's a good result as Wiley takes the Classic Saloon win on handicap ahead of his co-driver. Shelsley can take a heavy toll on machinery. Fortunately, Tim Cross had already done enough to win the 2-litre saloon class before the Peugeot put a rod through the side of the block. And the carnage doesn't end here. Giving his OMS Hayabusa everything as always, hard-charging Irishman Pat Roach blows the motorcycle engine at maximum revs up the finish straight on his second run. Marshals work hard to treat the resulting oil spillages, but the dusty surface will make things a little difficult for the rest of the day. We can see the problem as Simon Rutland breaks for the S's on his first run in the 1100cc racing class. Simon's battles with his brother John are legendary, but he'll lose his early advantage after John eases past by 1/10 of a second on his final run in their OMS Hornet. But with Mark Hemingway in the class, the Rutland brothers have a real task on their hands. Mark's holding absolutely nothing back. Hurtling into the S's, he's using all the road out of the final bend. It's going to be another win for the Force driver as he climbs within half a second of the class record. Midland Championship sponsor Steve Day and driving partner Ash Mason have replaced the Pilbeam they ran last year with one of the Derbyshire-built DJ race car chassis. Here's Mason aboard their Firehawk, another car powered by a version of the popular Suzuki Hayabusa, the engine in almost universal use in the 1600cc single-seater class. It's Will Hall though that sets the pace in this division. 2 storming class runs in the Ian Dayson built Force Hayabusa not only make sure of the class win, but qualify the bike engine car for each of the British Championship runoffs, a tremendous feat on a hill where normally there's no substitute for horsepower. Hall's regular sparring partner is former rally driver Ian Price. There's normally little to choose between the two, but today Price is fighting handling problems. His spectacular style normally overcomes any shortcomings, and this looks quick through crossing bend. Now well into 3-figure speeds, the Force charges up through the kink and into the S's, but this time it's a little too quick. The front suspension is damaged and all hopes of joining classmate Will Hall in the second runoff are gone. This is how it happened. The recovery truck's on its way and there's at least a couple of weeks to repair the damage before the next rounds at Loton Park. Back in the paddock, James caught up with Einan.
Einan, you were running one of our onboard cameras this afternoon. You put on a bit too much of a show for us on the second run though.
Well, I thought I'd be a bit entertaining for a change, you know. It does happen. We had problems yesterday in the practice. The car wasn't handling, it was wandering on the road a fair bit. It was fine in Kirsten, but when we came here it was wandering all over the place, and we left until the second run. Then Ian Dyson, he sorted the problem out on thing, and we did another run. Then I thought, I'll try to be quick now, I thought I'd change the sprocket of the car because I thought it needed a lower sprocket.
Higher top speed?
Well, more leverage in the gear.
Okay.
So put a lower gear sprocket in the front, thinking that I would have higher speed going the finishing line. After the first run today, it proved to be the other way around, slower over the finishing line. So it proved to me that I'd gone the wrong way. Should have done it yesterday, but there was other issues yesterday. So
well, that's the trouble with only having 2 runs here, isn't it? You've only got 2 runs each day. You want 2 practice, 2 time runs, so you don't have a lot of time to learn setup, learn where the gearing's going to be.
That's right. So so I was second on the first time run today. So I changed the sprocket back, and I was really going to give it a go now, and I was really on it. And there was a lot of cement dust and things on the bottom of S. It's caught a few other drivers out, very good drivers like Groves and things, so I should have thought about it, but I was just going for it.
That's right, when you're pushing hard, these things happen, don't they, from time to time?
That's right. I did try and get it back, almost brought it back, but it just didn't happen.
For sure. Well, hopefully not too much damage, a couple of wishbones there, and Ian Dyson will put that right for you?
Yeah, I just told him take it back and sort it out, you know.
Ready for Loton, no
Yeah,
problem.
that's right, yeah.
Good stuff. We'll certainly be watching you there. Let's go back to Jerry.
Thanks, James. Another regular competitor in the 1600cc class is Steve Owen. One of the most prolific constructors in hill climbing, Steve's OMS cars have a unique distinction. They can be found in every one of the 5 single-seater categories at national level. Now back to James.
Thanks, Jerry. Just bumped into Tony Hunt down in the paddock here, driver of the Force Hayabusa with the supercharger on it. Tony, it runs in the 2 litre class, the only Force to do that.
That's right, yes, it does.
So what have you done to the car that's different from the cars we normally see in the 1600 class?
Well, it's only a 1300cc engine, has a supercharger on it, Rotrek supercharger, which puts it up a class. It has loads of power, but we spent the last few years trying to get it to work, and now it's starting to make progress.
Okay.
And just need to keep being more brave with the car, you know.
Okay. The car always seems to produce masses of power, but doesn't necessarily seem to put that to the road so well. But you seem to be getting there with it now.
Yeah. I guess it's being brave with it, you know. I mean, we're clocking 121 over the line on their clocks, which is just 130 on ours.
Going pretty well then.
The power's there. It's just having the bravery in between, you know. That's the tricky bit.
For sure. Well, Shelsley's a pretty scary place.
Yes.
If you're not 100% sure with the car, you're obviously getting there, and
Yep.
it's going well for you.
Yes, it's starting to come together, and that's been a long time. But want to try and do it in something different, you know, rather than just another Delara or whatnot, which
That's
try to be different, you know.
It's variety that makes hill climbing, isn't it? It's great to
Absolutely.
see a different car in the class.
Thank you very much.
So now we wish you the best of luck. You're obviously improving. We hope you keep going that way, and we'll be watching you for the rest of the year.
I'll certainly try.
Excellent.
Thanks
Thanks a lot. Back to you, Jerry.
Now we're riding with Tony Hunt as he tackles the fastest hill climb in the country with his supercharged Force. Motorcycle engines now dominate the single-seater classes in hill climbing, but computer consultant Hunt was one of the first to try running one with the supercharger. As he mentioned, the MSA's 1.4 equivalency factor puts his 1300cc Suzuki Hayabusa engine into the 2 litre class. But after a lot of work over the winter, particularly by Force Racing Cars MD Ian Dyson, Tony's at last starting to get the times out of the car. He's over the line in the low 28, just outside the top 6 in his competitive class. Running in the same class as Hunt, the DJ Firehawk of Roger and Todd Fleetwood also runs a supercharged bike engine. The younger brother of former British Hill Climb champion Adam Fleetwood, Todd is really flinging the car up Shelsley in a bid to get on terms with the 2 litre class leader Paul Hames. This all-out attack on the S's shows he's clearly trying to reverse the situation, but he doesn't quite make it, and the time falls just 200 short of his opener. Circuit race cars are rarely seen in top-level hill climbing, but suitably modified and running a 16-valve Vauxhall engine, the Formula 3 Delara, with its ready availability of spares, is the car of choice for many of the front runners in the 2 litre class. This is one of the earliest, the 1997 chassis of Andrew Platt. In 4th place after the first runs, his closing shot just fails to get on terms with the flying Fleetwood. And here's another Formula 3 chassis. The immaculate Techcraft prepared Ralt F302 of John Chalmers was the last Formula 3 car produced by the factory. A regular qualifier for British Championship runoffs, Chalmers' fine second shot makes the cut and he edges past Fleetwood to take second in class. But more often than not, this is the man to beat in the 2 litre class. 10th overall in last year's British Championship, Paul Hames is determined to go one better this year as he books his place in the opening runoff on the way to another class win. We'll be back. Join us again in a few moments.
Hillclimb engines are a little bit different to ordinary race car engines. They need to develop the power at different times. Nicholson McLaren are involved in hill climbing championship. Again, we're going to support it as well as we have done in the last 3 or 4 years. We've had great success with Martin Groves out there again this year. I think we'll have some stiff competition, but hopefully we'll give him the right power behind his car. The engines are assembled in our engine build shop. Each one's individually built. They then get, upon completion, they go down to dyno cells. They'll be run without too much stress for about an hour. Then they'll be left to cool down, they'll have an inspection. The engines then go back to the engine build shop where they get pre-race checks before going out to customers.